So this is the 30-minute speaking. Welcome to my YouTube channel for today. So now actually I'm gonna go to the Google Meet for having the caption for myself, and then I think that I'm gonna just do it. All right. So let's start it. But before that, let me get back to my room and get some material for English practicing stuff. Guess let's do it. Alright, so I'm back right now. So I'm gonna check out the English practice stuff. Alright, so here I just took out all of my the stuff for my speaking. I have those papers that I don't know, like what is the papers. I read it. Okay, so the first one I have John Burning, which is the A Jig of the Jade. A Jig of the Jade. So the first, let me just take out my pencil case and the other stuff. But first, let me just take out my pencil case and the other stuff for my stuff. Alright, I believe that I'm pretty much ready for today, right? Alright, so this would be this one. This one. Alright, so now I'm gonna read this paper about it. A Jig of the Jade. John Burning took his right hand from his pocket and knocked on at Burton's door. 9-year-old Ada answered. Is your father at home, Ada? Yes, Mr. Burning. Just a minute and I'll get him for you. Lifting the door a chair, she disappeared into the darkness of the living room. Several minutes later, Burton appeared. What's your business, Burning? Well, Mr. Burton, I'm making me a fireplace for the house I just built out on Carter Road. Was wondering if you could build it for me. Burton leaned against the door frame and crossed his arms over his chest. He raised his right hand to his chin and rubbed it thoughtfully. Being too full, Burning, I've heard folks say you're not too good about paying that you owe them. You owe them. Now, I'm not gonna spend my time. I'm not gonna spend my time building you a fireplace when I'm not going to get paid for it. Folks don't have no business talking that way about me. Why? That what will Elsie and his 5 children? Money just gets tight sometimes, that's all. I might pay a little bit slow now and again, but I always pay. Besides, it's getting near October and the nights are getting chilly already. My family needs the fireplace, and folks do say you're the best mason in Plymouth. He shoved his hands into his coat pockets and looked thoughtfully at Burton. Welton looked back at him. His hands returned to his chin. Sure as he was born, Art had heard from many a reputable man that Burney was real slow about paying bills, his bills, when he bothered to pay them at all. And him with a good decent paying job now, and Sir Thomas Fawcett he squandered most of his pay and did work for Burney only for the sake of his 5 children and Elsie, who was the decent enough type. Forty, Burney, the job would cost you $100. Now, I'll be needing half of that before I do the job. And the other half, the day I'm finished. Want to it any other way? Sounds good to me, Mr. Welton. I can come up with the money. When can you do the job? Oh, I suppose I can start work next Monday, and I'll be over tomorrow to take a look at what you want done. Just remember, you be there Monday at 7 in the morning with $50 in your hand, or that fireplace won't get started. Okay, Mr. Welton. Sounds good. I'll be there with the $50. He stuck out his right hand. Welton took it briefly in his own. Okay, Barney. Good night now. He closed the door. The following Monday morning, after drove his wagon off to New Barney Place at 7 sharp. Sure enough, Barney was sitting for him. Uh, and got up to the wagon as it came to a head. Morning, Mr. Wilton. Nice day. Morning, Mr. Morning, Barney. Got the money? Well, Mr. Wilton, fuck it. I just couldn't get the whole $50 up in so short a time. I got $40. So, gonna be okay? Art closed one eye and rubbed his chin. Sorry, I promise I'll have the other $60 when you're finished. Please, Mr. Wilton, it's awful important we get that fireplace in. I'm moving the family into the place in 2 weeks. Oh, give me the $40, Barney. I'll build your fireplace, but you better have that $60 the day I'm done. Barney's mother and dropped into his daughter's pocket, coming up with four warm bills and placed them one by one into Wilton's and sketches, and sketched, and sketched, and sketched, and sketched, and sketched, and sketched hand. I appreciate your good heart, Mr. Wilton. And put the money into his deep shirt pocket, jumped neatly off the wagon, and went to work. Between that job and some surveying he was doing for the town, it took him nearly 2 weeks to finish. He sent word to Bernie that he expected to see him on Monday morning at the new house. He had laid the last stone and was cleaning up when he saw Bernie walking towards him. Morning, Bernie. Was done. So I see. You do good work, Mr. Wilton. That'll be $60. Bernie did not look at Art. His eyes were glued to his brand new chimney. Well, Mr. Wilton, fact is, I don't have it. Only worked a few days this week, and I didn't stay around to hit his rest. He picked up his tools, walked calmly to his wagon, climbed in, and drove away. Well, Bernie thought to himself, that was a lot easier than I thought it would be. Wasn't not as tough as everyone says he is. He laughed out at his own cleverness. No, Warden thinks he's a smart guy, but nobody gets one by old John Brownie. 2 days later, he moved his family into the new house. After the furniture was in, he decided to light a fire in his new fireplace. He put a dry log in and lighted the kindling. Slowly it burst into flame. Looks good, don't it? Elsie, hey, wait a minute. Why is it so smoky in here? Smoke's not going up to the chimney. Elsie, give me some water. Got to put the fire out quick. He did so and ran outside to get his wife. Coughing like a sick man, when the smoke had cleared a bit, he went back inside and opened the windows. That Breton, he muttered to himself, think he's such a good mason. An hour later, the room once again filled with fresh air. When he went inside, he looked up the chimney and saw nothing but the sky. I'm going over to South Street to see Welton. He told Elsie. Who does he think he is? Building me a fireplace that don't work? This time, when Vernon knocked on his door and opened it himself, he did look a bit surprised to see Bernard standing there and waited for him to speak. Your fireplace don't work. Don't work, eh? That's right. I just lit it, and smoke couldn't go up to the chimney. Why, Elsie and I nearly died. Look pretty hurty to me, Bernie. Don't get smart with me, Burton. What's the matter with the fireplace? Art stroked his chin and squinted at Bernie. Well, can't say that I know, Bernie. I guess a man just can't expect much from a $40 fireplace these days. Bernard opened his mouth but said nothing. You come up with $60, and I'll come down and have a look. But not a minute sooner. Mr. Welton, we moved in today. We need a fireplace tonight. My poor little children are going to freeze to death. $60, said Ash, closing the door in Bernie's face. 2 nights later, Bernie once again knocked on the Welton door. And it was once again opened by Art. I got the $60, Welton. Let's see it. Bernie dropped the wad out of the pocket and slapped it into Art's hands. Art unrolled it and counted it twice. Yep, that's the $60 you owe me. All right. He started to close the door. Bernie put a hand to keep it from closing. Now, wait a minute. When you coming over to fix my fireplace? Your fireplace? Oh, that's right. You claim your fireplace needs fixing. Well, can't make it can make it tomorrow. I got a wedding and some sewing to do. I'll be over Sunday afternoon after dinner. Be there around 2 o'clock. He closed the door before Bernie could answer. Sunday afternoon at 2:30. Burton drove up to New Bernie Place. John Bernie came outside to meet him. Afternoon, Bernie. Family home. Afternoon, Mr. Burton. No, they are afternoon family. Afternoon, Mr. Burton. No, they are all over at Elsie for having Sunday dinner. Art jumped off his wagon. He took out a ladder and a brick walked to the house. Setting the ladder against the house, he quickly ascended to the roof. Brick in hand, he watered the newly built chimney and looked down the shaft. Lifting the brick, he dropped it down the chimney, shattering the pane of glass he had mortared it so firmly the week before. Alright, so I think that is a pretty good, right? I'm gonna move to the next one. I'm not gonna go back this one. So this is the Bacilla and Wimps. Listen, there was a time when you couldn't even go to the restroom around the school without a pass. Pass. Without a pass. I'm not talking about those little pink tickets made out by some teacher. I'm talking about a pass that could cost anywhere up to $1, sold by Monk Clutter. Not that mighty Monk ever tou- touched Monk ever touched money, not in public. The gang he ran, which ran the school for him, what his collection, I can see, they were Clutter's coppers, a name spelled out in nail heads on six well-known black plastic windbreakers. Monk's threads were more subtle, a pale light suede polo jacket with lizard skin flaps over tailored levis, levis and a pair of ostrich ostrich skin boots, brass-toed and suitable for kicking people around. One of his cobras did nothing all day but walked a half step behind a monk carrying passes, a cash box, and a switchblade. That monk gave himself manicures with a lunch over a cobra's table. Speaking of lunch, there were a few cases of advanced malnutrition among the newer kids, the ones who were a little slow in handing over a cut of their lunch money and were therefore barred from the cafeteria. Monk ran a tight ship. I admit it. I'm 5'5" when the cobras slithered by with or without Monk. I shrank, and I admit this too. I paid up on a regular basis, and I might add, so would you. The school was on Monk's Garden of Eden. Unfortunately for him, there was a serpent in it. The reason Monk didn't recognize trouble when it was staring him in the face is that the serpent in the cobra's Eden was a girl. Particularly even guy in school could show you his scars, fang marks from cobras, you might say, and they were all highly visible in a shower room. Lumps, lacerations, blue bruises, you name it. But girls usually got off with a warning. Except there was this little girl named Bacilla Roseberry. Picture a girl named Bacilla Roseberry and you be light years off, and you be light years off. Bacilla was hands down the largest student on our particular institution of learning. I'm not talking fat, I'm talking big, even beautiful in a bionic way. Bacilla wasn't inclined toward organized crime, otherwise, she could have put together a gang that would turn colorless cobras into gator snacks. Bacilla was basically a loner except that he had one friend, a little guy named Melvin Detwiller. You talk about the odd couple? Melvin, one of the smallest guys above midget, 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 started midget, starts above above midget, starters ever seen. A really nice guy, but little. They even had lockers next to each other in the same bank as mine. I don't know what they had going. I'm not saying it was a romance. After all, people deserve their privacy. Priscilla was sort of above everything, if you'll pardon the pun, and really glam at once as only the very big can be. If there was anybody who didn't notice Clutter's coppers, it was Priscilla. Until until one winter day after school when we were all grabbing our coats off our lockers and hurrying worse wor- worse was, were, was, were. Grabbing and hurrying seen cluttered cobras made sweep of the halls after school checked it out. Anyway, up to Mavis locker, Swaggers, one of the cobras. Never mind his name. Gang members don't need names. They've got group identity. He reaches down and grabs little Melvin by the neck and slams his head against his locker door. The sound of school. It's not like that. Pronunciation. Check it for a little bit. Skull, 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 skull. The sound of skull against the sound of skull against steel rippled all the way down the locker row, speeding the crowd on the way. Oh, okay, let's see your past, snarls the cobra. The cobra. A pass for what? Melvin asks, probably still dazed. Let's call it a pass for every sort of people, says the cobra, a dwarf tax. He wheezes a little cobra chuckle at it on witness, and already he's reaching for Melvin's wallet in the hand that isn't circling Melvin's windpipe. All this time, of course, Melvin and the cobra are standing in Basila's big saddle. He's taking her time shoving her books into the locker and pulling on a very large side coat. Then quicker than an eye, she brings the side of her enormous hand down into a chop that breaks the cobra's hold on Melvin's throat. You could hear the pin drop that in the hallway. Nobody ever laid a finger on Cobra, let alone a hand the size of Basila's. Then Basila, who hardly ever says anything to anybody except to Melvin, says to Cobra, "Who's your teacher, Wim?" This particularly blows the cobra away. First, he's chopped by the girl, and now she's acting like she doesn't know Monk Ludder, the head honcho of the world. He's so amazed, he tells her, "Monk Ludder. Never heard of him." Basila mentions, "Send him to see me." The cobra just backs away from her little the situation is too big for him, which it is. Pretty soon Monk himself slides up. He jerks his head once and the cobra slithers off down the hall. He's going to handle this interesting case personally. Who is it around here that doesn't know Monk Ludder? He's tiny inches away from Basila, but since he'd have to look up at her, he doesn't. Never heard of him, says Basila. Monk's not happy with the answer, but by now he's spotted Melvin, who's grown smaller is part of himself. Monk broke his own rule by reaching for Melvin with his own hands. "Kid," he says, "you're gonna have to you're gonna have to educate your girlfriend." His hands never quite make it to Melvin. In a move of pure apology, Basila has Monk in a hammer block, his neck popping like gunfire, and his head bowed under the immense weight of her forearm. His white jacket peeling back, showing piled. Basila's behind him in another easy motion, and with a single mighty thrust forward, Frog marches Monk into her own locker. It's incredible. His arched skin boots click once in the air, and suddenly he's gone, neatly wedged into the locker. A perfect fit. Basila bangs the door shut. towards the lock and strolls out of the school. Maven goes with her, of course, trotting along below her shoulder. That the last Shanglas live quietly. Well, this is where fate, an even bigger force than Basila, steps in. It snows that night, a blizzard, the whole town eyes up, and school closes down for a week. Alright, so it is actually the 25 right now. I don't want to waste too much time, way too much of my time to just speak it. I want to have more time for just have some normal conversation with myself. For that, I can improve my pronunciation for my pronunciation in English. Um, for my pronunciation in English. Actually, is a good idea though because I don't want it because I don't want to be a cold potato. A cold potato. A cold potato. All right, a couch potato. A couch potato. Because I don't want to be like that. Actually, I did it. But actually, I did for the last couple of days. I just because it is Christmas, so I just ignore everything. I just I just say that okay, so this is holidays, and then also do whatever you want to do it. So just give up anything and just I don't want to do anything. But now I think that is a huge wrong for myself though because I cannot just go there and just do some stupid stuff. I have to be really focused for myself if I really want to be successful, right? So you cannot say that okay, so here is time. Do you want to do it? Just leave it away. And I'm gonna do it later. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I'm gonna do it later. You cannot like you cannot be like that because if you don't have the opportunity to show yourself a chance to bring it up to just go through the obstacles that are waiting for you in your forehead so you cannot achieve the goal you cannot make your dream come true you cannot just turn everything into the reality it's just a dreams is always dreams without action so dreams without actions is always dreams. So dreams without actions is always dreams. So I cannot just have a thinking in my mind that I will be this guy, I will be that guy, I will have that job, I will have a salary that amount of salary for every month without taking the action, without having a thinking, without having the effort to put on it, to think about it, to say to myself, okay, so if I really want to be that, so who I want to be today? That is the question I have to answer that. If I just read comics, so what I can be in the future? If I play games, if I play loads of games, I want to be master in a game. So what I can have? Okay, so for example, I want to be really want to be the Mobile Legend. I want to play the Mobile Legend, which is a really famous game for the mobile, right? But what happens if I just get the highest rank in that game? So what I can have for that? I change the entire of my free time, the entire of my time for playing that game, for showing them for I'm wasting my time for that, and I just get those little, just it's just a saying, it's just the achievement in the game, and I have nothing in the reality, right? So, and by that, I have to be really focused on what I really want to do. I have to focus on it. If I think that it's not, necessary for myself, it's not good. It's not. it's not good for me. It's not good for me. So give it up. I don't have to do it. You don't have to do it, because if you do it, you can actually you can get that, but you cannot. But it's not important with you. Alright, so I think that this is the thing that I really want to say to myself today. And also, this is the end of this video for today. Just give up, just try on and never give up, and you will get what you want, what you really want to get it. Alright, bye guys, have a good day, and never forget your dreams and take actions right now.